Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to Tirkolur Penpillai Bhakti Rahasyam episode number 38. Tirkolur Penpillai is continuing her beautiful comparisons with various devotees of the Lord in front of the great saint Swami Ramanuja. The best part is she doesn't realize that the person with whom she is talking to is none other than Swami Ramanuja. In fact, in one of the coming Bhakti Rahasyams, she compares herself with one of the traits of Swami Ramanuja, again without realizing that the great saint is in fact standing before her only. Now, something about Swami Ramanuja. He incarnated on this earth 1000 years back. Now today, when the society is plagued with a lot of problems in terms of inequalities, divisions, discriminations in the name of caste, creed, race, etc., Swami Ramanuja preached the concept of equality 1000 years back. In fact, there are many instances in his life's charitra, in his life history, where he has seen no distinction or discrimination. In fact, this current episode of Tirkolur Penpillai, where he is humbly standing and listening to these 81 Bhakti Rahasyams from a simple, innocent village lady, itself shows that he was gender neutral as well. So let better wisdom prevail and let us follow the principles which Swami Ramanuja lived and demonstrated so many years back. It was possible only because he was able to see Lord Vishnu in each and every one and in everything he interacted with. Now, coming back to today's Bhakti Rahasyam, Tirkolur Penpillai is benchmarking herself against one great Alvar, who is again the Vishnu saints. Now, this Alvar is called Tirpan Alvar, and Tirkolur Penpillai in her Bhakti Rahasyam says, did I merge with the Lord or did I become one with the Lord like Tirpan Alvar? So let us see the greatness of Tirpan Alvar in today's episode. Now, Tirpan Alvar was born in a so-called lower caste community who specialized in singing rural folk songs. Now, Tirpan Alvar used to sing praises of Lord Ranganatha of Srirangam, which is another holy place, through his rural folk songs. So staunch was his devotion for the Lord that he started inspiring the people in his community to start worshipping Lord Ranganatha. Now, sadly, the people of his community were not allowed entry inside any of the temples. Again, it was a bad practice in those days, which we certainly have to call out. Yet, in spite of all these challenges, all these barriers, Tirpan Alvar stood out and continued his devotion. Now, people of his community, since they did not have that level of devotion and they were prevented entry into the temples, they naturally felt that God was someone really far away. There was too much distance between them and God. Yet, seeing Tirpan Alvar's devotion, who was one among them, being in their community, they also started to pray or worship Lord Ranganatha inside their hearts. Now, what used to happen was Tirpan Alvar used to get up in the morning with the Lord's name. The moment he opened his eyes, the first thing which he used to think and recite was the holy name. Now, there is an inbuilt lesson for us as well, where a lot of people get up with the thoughts of the world and worldly pursuits every morning, which in fact disturbs the peace and the equilibrium in the mind, because not all thoughts about the world are savory. Not all thoughts about people are going to give joy to everyone or peace in one's mind. So it is always recommended, advisable. The great saints have mentioned this, that one should get up by chanting the holy name of whatever God you worship. Now, people may think that how can we chant the holy name when we have not even brushed our teeth or we have not taken a bath? Now, the saints are very clear in their suggestions or recommendations that chanting the holy name is something which is related to the internal purity, to the internal consciousness, whereas all these activities of brushing, bathing, cleaning, those are the externalities. So there is no connection between the internal thoughts. If the internal thoughts are pure, if we have the Lord in our mind, in our heart, and even a small desire that we should just chant the names of the Holy Lord while getting up, that itself is enough to create internal purity. So there is no linkage between chanting the names and other externalities. So chanting the holy name has no restrictions whatsoever, which we have to see if we were to do any other forms of worship, like say doing a puja or going to a temple. That would still require the externalities to be factored in, whereas chanting the holy name is very easy form of devotion. Now coming back to Tirpan Alvar's story. So with this practice of getting up with the holy name, he used to take bath in the holy river Kaveri, and he used to face the temple while taking his bath. And in his mind, in his heart, he had already had an image of Lord Ranganatha, and he used to pray to that image facing the temple. Now, Lord Ranganatha felt that his devotee or his devotee's greatness should be showcased to the entire world. So he thought of a plan. Now there was one Brahmin by the name Lokasaranga Muni who used to do the service of fetching the holy water from the river Kaveri for the holy bath of the Lord in the temple. Now Lord Ranganatha, through this Lokasaranga Muni, decided to prove the greatness of the devotee Tirpan Alvar, who was not allowed entry into the temple. Now this incident has a social message as well. Let us see that. It so happens once when Lokasaranga Muni, as a part of his everyday duty, goes to fetch the water from river Kaveri. At that moment, Tirpan Alvar, he is also in taking his bath in river Kaveri, After taking the bath, he is just in his divine ecstatic state where he is just singing songs unknown to himself, that he starts walking towards the place where Lokasaranga Muni is fetching the water. Now he is totally not conscious of what he is doing. Lokasaranga Muni sees that Tirupanaazhvar is coming towards him, so he shouts at him to move aside. But as Tirupanaazhvar is in a different state of mind, he doesn't hear what Lokasaranga Munivar is saying. Now this Muni had no other option, so he took a stone and without any intent to harm him, just to make him conscious of the surrounding, he hurled the stone at Tirupanaazhvar. Now unfortunately the force was a bit more, so it hit Tirupanaazhvar's forehead, making a cut, and it started bleeding. Now Lokasaranga Muni, again, it was not his intent. He felt sorry, and at that moment, on being hit by the stone, Tirupanaazhvar gained his consciousness, and then he felt that he had trespassed into Lokasaranga Muni's place. So he apologized that he shouldn't have ventured out there. Lokasaranga Muni apologizes that it was not his intent to physically harm him. So with that, he just fetched his water, and with that pot he started walking towards the temple, but with a heavy heart that he had harmed this particular devotee. Now when he steps into the temple, he sees a shocking sight. Lord Ranganatha's forehead has a cut, and there is blood oozing out of the idol's forehead. Now Lokasaranga Muni is really shocked, and he asks for forgiveness to the Lord on this, and he is able to connect the dots. That's when he realizes that the devotion displayed by Tirupanaazhvar was something different. That night, Lord Ranganatha comes in the dream of Lokasaranga Muni and says that he has done a mistake by injuring his closest devotee. So, to show his greatness, Lokasaranga Muni is supposed to go to the place where Tirupanaazhvar is taking his bath, and he is supposed to carry him on his shoulders, bring him inside the temple. This was the Lord's instructions to Lokasaranga Muni. Next day, the Muni wakes up. He prays for forgiveness that he had injured a devotee, and he wholeheartedly accepts the Lord's instructions, and he tells a lot of people there about his dream and what he is going to do. So with a small crowd of people, he goes to the river Kaveri as usual with his pot, and that's when Tirupanaazhvar sees that a small crowd is coming. He starts getting a bit threatened that, there are people who are going to come and talk about the previous day's incident. So he starts moving away from that place, and when the crowd catches upon him, he apologizes. He says that whatever he did yesterday was a mistake. But that's when Lokasaranga Muni comes before him. He narrates the entire episode, what happened the previous day and the dream he saw in the night, and that he has come to carry Tirupanaazhvar into the temple. Now Tirupanalvar is shocked here. He says, it is enough for me if I see the temple from the outside and I see or I worship Lord Ranganatha inside my heart. I don't want to step into the temple. But the Muni says that this is the divine instruction and even he has to follow that. So now it so happens that the Muni asks him to step onto his shoulders, and with that he will carry him inside the temple. Left with no option, Tirupanalvar steps into the Muni's shoulder and he is being carried to the temple. The whole of the city of Srirangam watches this sight where a devotee, or in the social parlance, a person of a lower caste, is carried on the shoulders by a Brahmin and he is stepping in to the temple where there was always a prohibition. So this was something like a revolution which happened in those days. With that, when the Muni then carries him inside the temple, Tirupanalvar's divine joys, ecstasies know no bound. Of course, when he was just seeing the temple from the outside, he was always lost in divine thoughts. Now he was before, face to face with his favorite Lord, and his joy knew no bounds, and he started continuously singing a lot of devotional songs in praise of Lord Ranganatha. Then the moment came where he steps down from Lokasaranga Muni's shoulders. He rushes to the Lord and hugs him, and at that moment he just disappears and merges into Lord Ranganatha. This was in front of the whole city witnessing this event inside the temple. What a great devotee Tirupanalvar was, and this is the incident which Tirukkolur Pen Pillai catches, that did I show that level of a devotion by which I could merge into the Lord? No. I go to the temple, I see the Lord, I worship the Lord, but I don't have that level of devotion, that burning passion which Tirupanalvar had. Now that was the content of our Pen Pillai Rahasyam today, which has a social message as well. When the Lord or the great devotees, they don't discriminate, they are not judgmental about a person's caste or creed. Who are we to get biased and entangled in all these things? Agreed, caste has become more political today, but it is everyone's duty, it is everyone's responsibility to treat every member of the society with the due respect, not to discriminate, not to distinguish on what they do or what they eat or what is their way of life. Everyone has the Lord within them, and it is for us not to distinguish or discriminate at the mental level and spread this menace of inequality and hatred in the society. So we all have this duty, we all carry this duty to ensure that more and more equality spreads in the society and peace is restored. That's all from our current Bhakti Rahasyam. Stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti Rahasyam. Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.